way it was supposed to go. I felt good.
Everyone is just going, oh, and they want to see more. And man, you get goosebumps thinking about it. Just a crazy feeling. It's indescribable. I'm not articulate enough to describe to you that feeling and that rush that you get from that crowd pumping into you like that.
I cannot remember when The Undertaker has looked that damn good.
I don't think it's going to get any better than that. I came through the curtain, just whispered in Vince's ear. I said, I think that's it. He was like, Mark, whatever you want to do. I think you got a lot more left, but it's completely up to you. It's your decision. You do what's right for you.
It kind of went too good a little bit. I might have a couple more left, but yeah, I got to get through that. I got to work through that.
The kid in me, it's always rooting for him and always there. I always want to see that continue. The friend in me, and there's a certain time where you got to choose a different path.
I felt good about where I was, and I left Philadelphia. I was happy. The match came off the way it was supposed to go. Went to Hawaii for 2 weeks and had a great time, and I was content.
I wasn't counting him out just yet. I really always expect him to come back. I think the pressure he puts on himself plays a part of it, but look, Undertaker's been his identity for 30 years. And it's been his identity for so long, I think he just isn't sure what Mark Callaway does next.
Mark and I had a lot of conversations in that time, and the I'm done conversation, maybe he believed it, maybe he didn't. But I never got the feeling talking to him, I'm done. Ever. The easiest person to lie to is yourself. The dragon is still there, and you're still chasing. You're not done. What he deserves is not the moment. He deserves to be satisfied.
So they wanted me for TV at the Garden, and it's the Mecca. It's really the home of the WWE. That's special. That's just something that you don't get all the time.
One of my favorite aspects of working in this building is all the iconic shots in the hallways. When I came out of my dressing room, the first thing that I saw was Elvis, and then right next to Elvis was Ali. I would look at those pictures right before I went out, knowing that I was about to go out and perform in the same arena as two of my lifelong idols had done.
It's almost bring a tear to the glass eye right here.
It seems kind of hokey, but for me, it was just a little bit of a reminder of the importance of Madison Square Garden. I mean, that was just truth. Everybody knows it takes me a long time to get to the ring. If you're in tune with what I do, most people can tell now that it takes me a little longer to leave because I don't know if I'm going to be back. I want these people, not only here in the Garden, but everywhere I've worked, to know how much I appreciate them and how much they've sustained me and helped me get to the ring on nights when the aches and the pains and the broken bones and everything else were going on. It was their cheering and them holding up their lighters and them shouting rest in peace that would get me through a lot of nights.
I wanted to come out here and take a minute and absorb all this. For the past 30 years, I've considered these hallowed grounds my home. Now, I don't know how many times I'm gonna get to come home anymore, but there's one thing that I want everyone to remember about this place. The legends that made their name here and the heroes that were created right here in Madison Square Garden.
And that's special. After nearly 30 years of doing this stuff, get that kind of reaction still. Let you know that they appreciate how hard that you tried to work for them, and a lot of energy out there. I wish I could bottle it, but so far I ain't figured that part out yet. Personally, I'm at a spot where if I don't walk in the ring or get in the ring again, perform in the ring again, I'm okay. And it took me a long time to get to that spot. You know, I would be at home and think, yeah, I'm good. And then I would come to work and you get an ovation and that kind of energy out there, and then you think, yeah, I could still do this, you know.
When you're in the business that we're in, you live to see how many people can get in a building. You live for the crowds, you live for the pops. Now, finding something that brings you all those same highs and all the great stuff that comes with the business and that adrenaline and all the stuff, it can take a while.
Well, your mind plays tricks on you. In 1 minute, you think, I can't do this the way I used to do this anymore, and you know that, but, well, sure I can. My mind still works the same way, and I just gotta physically feel a little bit better, but I can still do this, and you think you can move the way you did, and you can't. When you have to start thinking about this, it becomes really difficult.
When I was young and I was out on the road all the time, you never think about getting hurt. Or something catastrophic happening. You don't. You go out and you work hard and you do your thing every night. Nowadays, I think a lot more because, one, I don't move as well as I used to move. I don't have the reaction time that I once did. Due to injuries, I don't have the strength that I used to have. And all those things, they start getting in your head and you worry about something catastrophic happening. Something nearly catastrophic happened in Saudi the last time I was there.
Oh my God!
It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just something that happened, but I was 2 inches probably away from having my neck broken. Wow, I was 2 inches away from making my wife a widow and my kids fatherless. Once those thoughts, once they get in there, it's really difficult to get them out.
Once you start thinking those things, it's like a hamster wheel. You just keep hearing that voice of, man, I really could have hurt myself bad. The shackles on your mind of, do I do this? Do I stop now? Do I keep going? That's rough.
Where am I gonna be 10 years from now if I keep going? And especially if I don't have that burning desire here to go out and do it. The big part of it is I'm okay. I'm okay mentally and emotionally if I'm not an in-ring performer anymore. I just want to capture, you know, I really want to capture what these last few years and, you know, things that we've had to go through to get out there. That's more important to me than I think anything else is the will to be the best that I could be at this part of my career. And now, you know,
and working my way, as I did that, working my way to where I am now, where I'm good to walk away. Because when we started this whole thing, I wasn't. So, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Is there anything I could do for you, get for you, for hard?
Not to be a prima donna,
No,
but if you could go to makeup and find something to like.
Makeup remover?
Yeah, I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah.
Cut that. I don't wear makeup, man. This is my war mask. That's what I used to tell my dad. I brought my dad one time when he was still alive. I was in Houston working at the old Summit. I brought my dad backstage with me. He was kind of shadowing me everywhere I went, and it was time to start getting ready. And he was asking me questions, about my boots or whatever it was, my hat, my coat. Then I did the eyes last, and I looked over at him, and he was just like, he's just shaking his head like, yes, Dad, your 6'8", 330-pound son is putting on eye makeup. He's like, I would have never. But there was nobody any prouder than my dad. No one more upset about my career choice, but no one more proud by the end of it. It was because I was in college, I had a full scholarship. Then I decided that I wanted to become a professional wrestler. Just thought that was the stupidest thing. You get an education, all you get to go is play basketball? Are you kidding me? And everything's paid for? Yes, sir. You're walking away from, what are you gonna do in the rest of your life? I'll figure it out, Dad. I miss him. The priority of my life is to be a good husband and father. So.
Steve, this is to you. Here we go. In 5, 4, 3.
I could not start the debut episode of the Broken Skull Sessions with a better guest than I have tonight. He's on the Mount Rushmore and the greatest character in the history of the business, the one and only Undertaker. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, man. Been a minute.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling, 30 plus years, I think, you probably got a pretty good idea how I feel. It's not an easy life. You really got to see who I am, and you got to see me in regular clothes, and our audience, they've been clamoring for that for years and years, to see behind the hat and the coat. And I couldn't keep my stuff straight at home.
Right.
But if you had a problem at work, I could help you out.
Yeah.
Because that's how engrossed I was in what we did.
He was just taking the temperature, going with what his gut was telling him in his heart, and can't say anybody ever loves the business more than I do, but a guy who loves the business like he does, and that's a bunch, and is still wondering what's next.
What gets me is when people tell me what I need to do. Nobody knows what I need but me, in the sense of when it's time to, when I'm gonna hang it up.
There's got to be some finality somewhere.
Regardless of anything, I'm gonna write my own story, and I'm gonna write my own ending. I had no idea that was gonna be a kind of a gateway.
My buddy and I were talking, and he said that he watched the podcast with Stone Cold, and he wants to retire on his own terms.
Pride is a sumbitch. It's not so much that I feel like I have anything left to prove to the business or give to the business. It's personal challenges with me.
It almost sounded like he was gonna go one more match, or maybe 2 more. And I thought, if he's gonna do something, how can I be one of those matches if he's gonna do more than one? I just wanna be one of them.
Broken Skull Sessions with The Undertaker and Mark Callaway. Cheers.
Enjoyed it.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. All he can say is no, it's not a big deal. I didn't ask Vince, because if Taker doesn't want to do it, well, then it's not gonna happen. So I called Undertaker. We just started chatting.
I had a pretty good idea what he was calling for. He goes, when you were on Steve's show, you said you were gonna kind of go do things on your own terms. What's that mean? Are you gonna work? Do you wanna do something? He goes, I would love to do something with you at Mania. And I was like, oh man, I don't know. I was like, bro, honestly, I said, I would have loved to work with you 10, 15 years ago. I said, man, I think we could have tore the place down. I said, I don't have any, aspirations of getting back in the ring. And he goes, man, if you just think about it.
If it's me, I'm looking at the roster, I go, right, I want AJ Styles. That's who I'm gonna have my last match with. Because AJ is a guy who, from an athletic standpoint, can help him have that final chapter, I think.
We talked about how some of his matches with smaller guys like Shawn Michaels have always been his better matches.
For some reason, I really tend to understand the dynamic between someone my size and someone AJ's size.
AJ's got him! That's it! Wait a minute! Undertaker counter!
And then putting something together that people can sink their teeth into and understand and get the story.
These guys are throwing bombs at each other.
I think AJ's an awesome storyteller with his matches.
Night after night, AJ Styles continues to be the best performer of our generation.
In my opinion, AJ Styles is the best wrestler on 2 feet right now, and Undertaker can trust him. And at this point in Undertaker's career right now, he's got to be out there with someone he can trust.
Oddly enough, we've been vacationing with one of AJ's best friends for almost 10 years. So we've gotten to know AJ and Wendy and his kids through them. So AJ reached out and he's like, hey, Take, if you've got one more in you, I'd be honored. And Mark looked at me and I was like, there's nobody better. There's absolutely nobody better to get into the ring with. If you're gonna do it, it'd be good. He's like, really? You're like steering me in the direction I thought you wouldn't steer me in. I'm like, but it's AJ, it could be magic.
So I said, give me a couple weeks to think about this and I'll get back with you.
I said, well, just so you know, whatever your decision is, it's the right one.
When you're AJ Styles and you're as good as AJ Styles is, when you call Mark, that's an intriguing dragon to chase.
Look at this murderer's row here. Damn. Don't leave any room for me?
Yeah, you're gonna take my seat.
Get out. You get the head boy.
I promised Matt Bloom that I would come down here and work with some of their big guys. I'm pretty sure they were all fairly nervous.
A lot of times guys, they don't look genuine because they're trying to be something that they're not. And that's a difficult thing to figure out.
And once they found out that I wasn't going to shred them, I think they felt a little more comfortable.
Everything looked like it was there. That's a nice way of saying that was some stiff shit.
The business is in his heart. He wants to give everything he has to anybody who will listen. So anytime we're in Orlando, he's at the PC, and he's helping the guys and he's helping the girls.
It's, I think, not only important that people like The Undertaker pass on their knowledge, it's imperative to the survival of the business. This business has always been handed down from one to the next, to the generation to the generation. They make it theirs, then they pass that knowledge down on to others.
I got to know him best on European tours, picking his brain, cracking open a cold one after a match. I remember my first match with him, it was on SmackDown.
Well, it's the chance of a lifetime for this 22-year-old who's only been in the WWE for a few weeks.
I could tell he liked me because I was arm dragging him, hip tossing him, giving him backdrops. He was taking all these bumps for me because he wanted to go out there and really make the young kid look good.
Look at this! Look at this! Incoming! The kid's got some momentum here. What's up?
I remember we came back through Gorilla and Vince was like, "What are you doing?" And Undertaker just looked at him and he goes, "Well, it's good for the kid. I'm trying to make the kid. Isn't that what we do?" And that response right there I thought was so cool, and it just showed me he just wants to make me look good because he knows that I'll return the favor farther down the line.
This business is forever. The Undertaker character is forever, but I'm not. And it's my responsibility to guide these younger guys, help them to become the best that they can be.
You're doing nothing, but it looks like you're doing everything.
It only makes this industry stronger.
He teaches everyone everything. That's just how powerful he is here.
Bray Wyatt just melting away, looking into the eyes of the dead man.
To say I learned one thing from him is an understatement.
I'm gonna make Jeff Hardy famous.
I've been so fortunate to have him as a mentor and a leader and a teacher throughout the past years. To be in there at main event and Raw with him in my early 20s, I mean, it was just incredible.
Torso off the top of the ladder.
He would basically tell me what I did wrong or what I could do better, and then I would just take that and run.
And look at this! The Undertaker plays in Jeff Hardy's hand. He earned a note of respect from the Undertaker.
This is the first time I'll be in a ring since Extreme Rules. I told myself I was gonna try and keep myself in some semblance of shape. Of course, that went right out the window. We'll see what these boys are ready to learn today.
As far as the comeback today, what happens is gonna be how I make my decision. My plan is kind of work around with those guys and then kind of morph into doing more stuff myself.
Hey man, how are you? Good. How you doing? What's up?
So I can really make an honest assessment of where I'm at.
You getting in there? At some point. I'm in no hurry. I'm in no hurry.
Take your time.
It's good for him to be around it. It lights that fire. Their youth, their desire, it's like jumping in the fountain of youth.
Still right up to the rope, right where you're at. Right there.
That's how you don't become the bitter old guy. You surround yourselves with young people that are fresh and hungry and knowledgeable, and you talk about it and you engage in it.
Good stuff.
When you're around these guys, who are hungry and working so hard, you always get motivated.
You get old like me, you gotta step it off first. You work into it.
I knew at some point through these 2 days that I had to assess where I'm at.
Oh, all right. You warm? Old guy in the house. All right.
I just want to make sure that I feel like when I'm asked my body to do something, it's going to answer.
I felt much better than I thought I was going to. I felt like my stride was long, felt pretty natural. I'm still kind of torn. I know I can do it physically, but mentally I have to figure out if I'm 100% in, which I have to be. I can't do this half-assed. I left on a very high note. Extreme Rules really far exceeded my expectations. What happens if I go out? If I decide to do this, I go out and I'm disappointed in my performance. Now what, right? You can't stop like there. Now you're going to have to keep going and redeem this.
Toronto, I worked with Flair, and it was WrestleMania. I remember afterwards, Rick coming and thanking me and talking about how his self-confidence was in the tank after WCW. And I just couldn't understand. I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, you're Ric Flair. I mean, you are wrestling. This is what wrestling is about. You're the nature boy, woo, all that. I didn't understand until these last few years. I know exactly now what he was talking about. I know what that self-doubt feels like. I'm not worried about the hard work. It's just, all the sacrifices that Michelle's gonna have to make and, the time that I'm gonna have to spend away from my daughter. I'm gonna have to go home and think about it, talk with my family about it, pray about it. This thing will go on forever. Be the longest documentary in the history of documentaries. Undertaker would not die. He will not go away. Making his way to the ring with a walker. Hopefully I'll get some clarity really, really soon because I know they need an answer.
talked with Michelle about it, watched some of his stuff, and I've always really enjoyed watching him work, and I was like, crap. Yeah, it's like, every time I think I'm out, they pull me right back in. So I said, all right, I'm gonna do it, I'll do it. I decided I was gonna do it, but I gave myself like a couple of more days before I made any phone calls, and just to make sure that my mind wasn't gonna change. Called Vince up. I tried to rib AJ, and I said, look, I'm gonna do it, but I want you to call AJ for me. I want you to let him know that that I'm gonna work Mania, but just tell him that I'm gonna work with somebody else.
Vince, he goes, well, I'll talk to Taker, and there's some kid in Tennessee he wants to get over and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? He goes, no, I'm serious. You probably need to call him. And then I called Taker and said, listen, there's this younger kid that I want to put over. And I was like, bull crap, man. That's bull. You know, so it was, they tried to rib me, but come on.
Good Lord.
It probably doesn't mean that much to him. It's another WrestleMania for The Undertaker. But for me, I get to get in the ring with The Undertaker. This is huge. This is the biggest match of my career. No doubt about it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad, man. That's always the worst. I start feeling good. That's when I make
Just want to make sure that he goes, you know what? If I'm going to retire, maybe this is the one to do it on. I want him to be so satisfied with this match that it could be done if he wanted to.
I couldn't think of a better person to have my last WrestleMania match with, for sure. I don't think there's anybody else out there that I would have come back for. I know that for a fact. There's nobody.
It is a beautiful evening here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A huge crowd expected for Super Showdown.
A big night of action here at Super Showdown. I can't wait to see what goes down.
Taker, I love you. I really love you. I'm a big fan of you, really.
When I work on trips, we heard doors, and we ain't going over yet. Yeah, I mean, y'all must be just taking it to the next level, though.
That's what it is.
You know, we took
That's
what
what
you,
it
we
is.
took what
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
the foundation you laid.
Right.
And then we try to
don't
build
talk about
on, you know, you.
Yeah. We like to go over all the minutia.
That's a strong.
Like when I grab your wrist, should it be here or quarter-inch up? Right.
Because
We want it to be precise.
The details.
Right.
You know?
It's all in the details.
Because they didn't have high def television.
No,
so,
exactly.
you know,
Right.
So now we got to make sure everything.
Exactly. Right. And should I angle it? Or is that palm too much? Exposed too much palm.
Too much
you know?
palm.
Right. So let's turn it down.
Whoa.
That's why we talk about these things.
Wow.
So y'all are just true professionals.
That's it.
We just
That is it.
You know, students of the game. You know.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that then. Now I got a whole new
this.
understanding for y'all's
Yes, sir.
your application. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you
for
I
that.
appreciate that.
At that time, I had been off TV for a little while again, and it was the right place. That was obviously a big event, and it was a great place to kick everything off.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Phenom, The Undertaker, is here at Super Showdown. The Reaper has arrived. AJ Styles said that he's the best superstar of any era, that he can beat any superstar.
What do you think is going through the mind of AJ Styles now?
AJ going for the ride, the choke slam. Undertaker going into the cover. Styles, rest in peace. There will never, ever be anyone like The Undertaker.
Are you paid by the hour? You're here for a good time?
Not a long time.
Not a long time.
The walk's always going to be longer than the match. I don't think it takes too big a brain surgeon to figure out what's going to happen, Kobe. This is kind of the launching pad to Mania. Last year, we made a collective decision that I would not be on the card, and I was okay with it until I was actually sitting in the stadium, and I was like, my insides are telling me, like, you need to be out there. I'm excited to kick things off. Couldn't be more excited with you know, who I'm going to face, and I'll be anxious to see how it all turns out.
At this point, it all starting to flow back. I'm back at Harry's training like an animal again and trying to diet and do everything right, and just like fell right back into the whole what I should be doing at this time of the year, you know.
You got anything to do you, Harry? I don't know. It's like he got the deadlift bar out. He's got the assault bikes. He's probably got something really sinister planned for me since I haven't been here.
Knock the cobwebs off.
Knock the cobwebs off.
There's really not a lot of adding strength or size or anything like that. It's just about his lung capacity and being able to stand 25, 35-minute match. What happened?
Huh? That's when you know it's going to be a good match, when your nose starts bleeding while you're training. Well, that was fun. I'll be 55 years old when I step into the ring at Mania. So that means my cardio needs to be better than it was for Cena, better than it was for Roman. I don't want him waiting on me for anything, regardless of whatever happens through the course of the match. I don't want to be a step behind. In a singles match with somebody the caliber of Styles, there's nowhere to hide, man. If you're not conditioned, if you're not ready, you get exposed. As many critics that I have out there that say, just retire, get out of the ring. It's like I said on Steve's show, you know, I'm gonna do this on my terms. And if I decide that I'm getting in the ring, then it's my responsibility to be the best me that I can be on that given night, you know. I have to train 10 times as hard as I ever have for a quarter of the results. I mean, that's Mother Nature. But, you know, I know that going in, so that's why we put in days like today.
Years ago at WrestleMania, I saw The Undertaker get beat by Roman Reigns. And after the match, The Undertaker folded his jacket, took off his gloves and his hat, and laid them nice and neat, right in the middle of the ring, as if he were riding off into the sunset. And it was a beautiful, powerful moment.
The one thing that I've learned about WWE is that it's all about the moments.
And The Undertaker ruined it. He ruined it when he came back to the WWE.
That's the key. I want to find a way to make as many moments as possible. This is going to be personal between AJ Styles and The Undertaker.
You've already lost your dignity, your pride, your mystique.
I'm going to make it so personal, you're not gonna want to leave until finally Undertaker destroys AJ Styles.
I don't know what keeps him coming back, but I've got a pretty good idea. It's his wife.
The build-up for WrestleMania has been unexpected.
And she plays him like a fiddle. Anything and everything she wants, she gets. Despite her husband walking down the aisle, getting in this ring, and getting hurt every time he steps in it now.
I didn't know that he was going to cut such a good promo that I was going to start hating him for a second.
Undertaker, your wife is going to run you into the ground. And I'm going to help her.
I actually text Alan's wife like during the promo. I go, dang. I was like, this is good, but I literally kind of almost hate him. I was like, which clearly he's doing his job, but geesh.
I don't see this mythical monster anymore. I don't see this Phenom anymore. What I do see is a broken down old man named Mark Callaway.
He rips me up and down, and he talks about my wife. He crossed every boundary that I would never let anyone cross, and I think that's why it resonated so well with people.
I am gonna take the Undertaker's soul at WrestleMania. And I promise you, I will literally put the nail in your coffin.
People may not be satisfied unless I push his face back in his head about 6 inches.
It forced my hand with where I had to go with the character, because I don't feel like, how does the Undertaker defend all the, the bad things that he said about Michelle? Is like, I can't go out there and be Undertaker. As great a character as the Undertaker persona is, you're handcuffed in a lot of ways to what you can do and what you can't do. Around 2000, I was starting to feel a little stale. The way I looked at it, like, well, if I'm starting to feel stale with this, what is the audience gonna feel like? Then second of all, our business was changing, man. It was evolving so fast.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
The character needed to change with the times, and the times were the Attitude Era, and everybody was louder, ruder, rowdier.
My mind is like, if I don't evolve this character somehow so that it fits in, then I'm gonna get lost.
Oh my God! My goddess! It's The Undertaker! Yes! The Undertaker is whooping ass! Oh my God, it's carnage!
I had to keep elements of The Undertaker, but I had to bring it into that era and make it work.
Here comes the real American badass, The Undertaker! And listen to this crowd!
I could talk as much smack as I wanted and didn't have to worry about staying in the confines of the traditional Undertaker character.
Let's let the pain and suffering begin.
I don't think The Undertaker would have lasted or survived if I hadn't have made that switch.
He knows his character better than anyone else in the history of the industry, but he also knew when to change without changing the mystique and the aura.
Show different lights and shades of gray and just take it in a different direction, but still stay true to who he is.
Although I don't dress like Satan anymore, I'm still down with the devil, and I will go medieval on your ass.
It just felt real. I think to them it felt like, okay, this is what the other side of that Undertaker is. And I guess in reality it really was.
As much as Mark Callaway is the Undertaker is Mark Callaway. They've merged.
AJ Styles. Or should I say, Alan Jones.
Man's crossed all those lines. He's not referring to me as Undertaker. He's referred to me as Mark Callaway. He has addressed my wife.
You're gonna pay the ultimate price for disrespecting her. My wife, Michelle McCool.
This is where the man, he has to come forward too.
Try me. I'll make you famous.
I'm gonna wrap all three of these guys together. It's gonna be The Undertaker, it's gonna be the American Badass, and then there's gonna be Mark Callaway.
You can feel the wrath of the unholy trinity I'm bringing with me.
This is how I'm gonna work in this match against him. You're gonna have elements of The Undertaker, you'll have elements of the American Badass, and you're gonna have Mark Callaway defending his wife's honor.
You will suffer. And most importantly, you will rest in
From the time that I agreed to do it, I envisioned us having a wrestling match in a wrestling ring in front of 80,000 people.
We will have more cases. We will have community spread. That is inevitable.
COVID-19 is just so bizarre.
At that point in time, with everything that was going on in the world with the pandemic and everything, we were sort of kind of flying by the seat of your pants.
We are in an unprecedented time worldwide. Vince McMahon's mantra while owning the WWE has always been, the show must go on.
Our fans are the lifeblood of what we do. They deserve to be entertained, especially during this time, and we're driven to prove it.
It was pretty much confirmed that we probably weren't going to be at Raymond James Stadium. Always been one of the things that WWE does well, though, is we can shift on a dime and try to make something from nothing.
The too big for just one night event will still go on, but without an audience.
Holy cow, the stadium's not going to happen. Holy cow, we're going to do WrestleMania out of the Performance Center. Holy cow, it's going to be 2 nights. We're going to have to do some of these things off-site if they lend themselves to that.
They say anything can happen in the WWE, and the grandest show of all must go on, and it will go on right here.
Just crazy times. And I mean, our audience is such a vital factor to our product. You just feed off their energy, and now you're handcuffed in a lot of ways to what you can do and what you can't do.
I'm gonna bring back the dead man in a match that he would love to be in, a Boneyard Match.
When I got involved in the production side of it, I asked the question, so like, guys, what's a Boneyard Match? And they were like, I don't know. Like, you figure it out. We drive 40 minutes outside of Orlando, and we get there, and it's like a 1-acre plot at the end of a residential neighborhood. And Michael Hayes and I get out of the car, and I'm like, you are kidding me. Like, this is not what I was expecting at all. It's got a barn on one end, and I was just speechless at first, like, oh my God. And then Michael said, well, Chip, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, maybe from over here.
But we played the cards that we were dealt, and it was one of those times where we turned chicken into chicken salad. The transformation of this place is just, it's phenomenal. If you would have seen it the day before, you would have never expected it to look the way it did.
Taker came in the next day with AJ, walked him through it, what we were thinking.
All right, do your thing.
Oh God, I couldn't breathe in there.
Taker and AJ both thought it was great concepts and ideas. So I went to Vince. Well, the pitch was, we'll shoot it cinematic, we'll do it with multiple cameras. Kind of ran him deeper through the creative, and he was like, do it.
We got extremely lucky in the sense that we were able to go off-site and do this match off-site because of where the story developed and the severity and how personal it became when he crossed all the lines that he crossed in his promos. I don't think that you can have a wrestling match, which we always envisioned. It turned out to be probably the best thing that we could have done. It was about, I don't know, a 45, 50-minute drive from the site of the Boneyard to the Performance Center. And we were on our way back. I was in the car with Triple H, Michael Hayes. My phone started to ring. And I looked down, and it was my niece. And then something just told me in my head, said, you need to answer that call. And it was probably the last ring before it was gonna send it to voicemail, and I hit it, and I said, hey, what's going on? And she goes, my dad, my brother Tim, he said, my dad had a heart attack. I was like, oh, wow. I said, okay, what hospital did they send him to? He lives outside of Austin and lived. I asked her, I said, what hospital did they send him to? And she said, no, Uncle Mark, he's gone. He didn't make it. And it was, in the middle of all this stuff going on, WrestleMania, you know, when everything goes perfect, it's hectic and stressful. But now I have to call all my brothers and let them know, and then call my mother. Knowing that, you know, what that was going to do to her and not be able to be there. It's just another indication of how important being present with your family is, because you just never know what's going to happen. So it was an extremely rough day.
It was hard, too, going to the next day with the loss of my brother. It's just as fresh as it can be. And then, you know, you're in a Boneyard match and everything's centered around being buried. And it's just like, man, you know, it makes it tough. But at that point, the show must go on.
And, okay, how do we make this great?
Wow, there he is. I didn't think you'd show up.
Yeah.
Hey, does Michelle know you're out this late? She let you come out. Hey, I took the liberty of digging your grave for you. Doesn't it look nice?
You dug your own grave, sir.
You think so?
Yeah, I know so.
You think so? Come on, old man.
Yeah.
Come on, let's see. Let's see what you got.
I got enough for you.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh. Get up, boy. You wanted this. Come on. Here, take some of this. What's up, guy? Take Son of a bitch.
That Boneyard match, the 25-minute fight scene, and they beat the crap out of each other.
Hey, get there. We're just getting started.
Let's do it.
You ain't got what it takes, old man. Come on. Hashtag dust.
sorry.
Do you think I'm gonna bury you? Really? Come here. I'm not. Come here, man. There's a lot of people that give me that fight. You good, brother? All right.
Although it was in a different format, you know when things are that good. I was really happy with the bike element. That's a cool thing there. Like, you just had this hellacious fight, get on your motorcycle. And then you ride off. There was a lot more to the riding off into the darkness there. Obviously, there are a lot of thoughts going through my head as I'm riding off. This may be the last time I do this. It was a difficult night, and it was every bit as rough as it looked. 5 minutes into shooting, I put my arm through the hearse side window. It chews up my arm, so we got to stop shooting immediately.
Just kind of wash it off a little bit. He got color early. His arm was a crimson mask.
So they got to clean my arm out, dig the pieces of glass out of my arm. What happens when you film that way is you get started, and then there's a stoppage. They got to switch cameras around, they've got to switch lighting around. And for me, with where I'm at physically,
We'll start the shot with you.
just standing in one place is the worst. It allows that adrenaline to come down a little bit, and then it allows whatever it is that's hurting, like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that's gonna be bad tomorrow. It was just a really long night, and we wrapped at about 5 a.m. I knew the things that we were filming and the things that we were doing were gonna be cool. And then when I saw the final product, I mean, it was like, wow, this turned out really cool. And then the feedback, that was icing on the cake. Everyone had nothing but positive things to say about it, and that's very rare.
The performances in this were just phenomenal. Physical, demanding, trash talking was spot on, the selling, the storytelling, all of it. And I think all that aura and mystique of the Undertaker was back. If for no other reason, it was successful just for that.
Get your ass in your grave.
My specialty is storytelling. You look back at that build-up, the payoff with the match, I mean, that's storytelling at its best.
Okay, cut, break.
Is it what I envisioned when I said yes to the match? Absolutely not.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
But it was damn good, and damn good was what I was looking for. It's like, how do you top that?
There's no pressure out here, just, you know, it's time to relax and enjoy yourself and forget about all the other stuff that goes on in the world.
Slow down.
Slow down, exactly.
I feel like the more that we get out here, the more he's not going to want to leave. And the more maybe he'll be at peace with whatever decision he makes, knowing that he has this to come to. And I like seeing him peaceful, not a worry in the world, and that's where we're at. Fishing on the river.
Worrying about catching a fish.
Yeah, I'd rather worry about you catching a fish than worried about you getting concussed, breaking a bone, busting an eye socket.
Makes sense. Considering everything that was going on, I feel very fortunate that we were able to do the Boneyard Match. It was different, but still taxing on the body. By the end of that shoot, I felt like, you know, I'd done a 45-minute match.
I mean, that was a rough week. So Tim, Mark's brother, passes away. And then we went home, and it was that Sunday night that my nephew, Rhett McCool, tragically passed away in a car accident. Just graduated high school. But that's when you get really grateful for family.
Even before my brother passed, Kobe Bryant's death, it was amazing how that struck home. You know, it made me realize that, like, I'm not getting this time back, and it's time to be present and give home what I give the business. You never know. You never know when your number's gonna get called.
That's what life's about, to hear her giggles. Hey, love, you can come over here. Were you cheering for Daddy or for AJ?
I mean, no, Daddy.
That's it. I'm out. No, forget. I'm out of here. I'm glad I beat him. I'm glad I beat him like I did then.
I don't want to miss out on anything else because I feel like I have to have this certain match to walk away. My career, my legacy, it speaks for itself, and I'm happy with it. At the end of the day, that's really all that matters. And I have this other life that I need to go and experience and enjoy the fruits of my labor and enjoy the blessings that I have, my wife and my children.
You know, he left a legacy a long time ago. Long time ago. It didn't matter if he never stepped in the ring these past 5 or 6 years. He left his legacy. That is stamped. And I think he gets that. And I think making that transition to where his identity is Mark Callaway versus Undertaker, I think it's rough. And I think now he trusts himself more and to move into that avenue.
I believe I'm at a place now, post-Boneyard. It's like just one hellacious battle against one of the best in the business. Here you are, climbing on your motorcycle and taking off. There was a lot of thought, a lot of emotion that went through my head. One of those is being, are you happy enough with that? It was just a powerful moment. And you don't necessarily always get those. Man, if there was ever a perfect ending to a career, that right there is it. If Vince was in a pinch, would I come back? I guess time will only tell there. Case of emergency, break glass, you pull out the Undertaker. I mean, I would have to consider that. Never say never, but at this point in my life and in my career, I have no desire to get back in the ring. I got a pit in my stomach right now. I'm at a point this time the cowboy really rides away. There's nothing left for me to conquer. There's nothing left for me to accomplish. The game has changed. It's time for new guys to come up, and I don't know, the time just seems right. I think this documentary has helped me discover that. I mean, it's really opened my eyes to the bigger picture, and it's allowed me to not judge myself as harshly on these last few years and to see things on a broader scale. My peers, given their insight, really got a genuine sense that they care for me and want the best for me. It's been very humbling allowing this part of me to come out and have people accept it. I've only given them The Undertaker. They haven't got Mark Callaway, and all signs there that they've accepted Mark Callaway. I can do more good outside the ring now than I can inside. And I'm finally at a place where I'm able to accept that. And I'm okay with it. I've been very blessed to have two families, my wife and my children, and then my family on the road.
I still feel 25 most of the time. I still raise a little Cain with the boys.
Guys like Brian Adams, Yokozuna, The Godfather, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Bret Hart, Mick Foley, obviously the Mayor, Kane, Edge. Obviously, I can't name everybody, leave somebody out, but just important to know how much you guys meant to me, not only on a professional level, but on a personal level. So many people that I consider true, great friends, and I just can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, Vince always had my back, and I have to say, thank you.
Sometimes I feel like Jesse James, still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song. I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song. And I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
I've considered myself blessed to be able to do something for as long as I've been able to do it.
I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
This is a tough life, and it's a rough life, and you have to have it within you to want to pursue it. You have to have a genuine love for what you do, and you have to have a genuine love for wrestling, because this business is all about heart.
Awesome is the only word I can think to describe this Undertaker.
You hear the term lightning in a bottle, and every once in a while, if you make it to the top, you've caught it. But man, he caught it for like, what, 30 years?
He's the guy that always raised the bar.
There's the Undertaker!
His work ethic, his ability, his talent, and honestly, the way that he handled himself.
I think he's the godfather of professional wrestling. Someone people confide in, someone people trust.
Through all of it, he was like the Rock. As the waves are pounding the shore, you have the Rock that never moved and always stood firm. That was him.
Absolutely mesmerizing. The magnificence that is the fabled, the legendary Undertaker.
I've devoted most of my adult life to this business, and I wouldn't change a thing. All the injuries and surgeries and everything, I wouldn't change any of it. It's all part of my story. It's all part of the things that help shape the person that I am today. I've been very blessed to have great guys to work with. And they'll be around, but I'm gonna miss you guys. And most of you I already do miss.
I don't know one wrestler that's like, you know what, he's a piece of work, and that's the guy I can't stand. Never. Guys love Taker.
It's an honor to call him one of my friends. He's my brother.
There's only one Mark Callaway that could do what he does in the ring.
Literally would be a different life had he and I not crossed paths. He put me on the map. He put a lot of people on the map.
I fought against him probably more than anybody in my career. He never had an off night, ever.
I learned a lot from that dude, and I love him and I respect him.
The bar for respect is The Undertaker and everybody else down here.
It doesn't happen without them. It doesn't happen without the fans buying into this character and holding it so near and dear to their heart. I never tried to just mail it in. Every time that I went out to do the best that I could.
This capacity crowd, ladies and gentlemen, in all of the presence of The Undertaker and all the creatures of the night that have stood behind this man.
I hope they realize what it meant for me to go out night after night and perform in front of them. How much their love and their energy so many nights is what got me through. Can't think of a better way to spend the last 30 plus years of my life than performing for the people that have followed me all these years.
To ride the edge of a lightning bolt for 30 years the way he has been nothing short of phenomenal.
He's given his life to this business, and he'll be remembered forever.
I don't think there'll ever be anybody like it. The character, the performances, his legacy is that there'll never be another.
Most iconic and greatest legacy of all time. I mean, an absolutely amazing career, and you should be extremely proud. Mark, I'm proud of you. So proud.
There's no question Mark has made the best of every opportunity, from family to the business to his professionalism and who he is as a human being. That man can look in the mirror and look, I did good.
This business has given me everything. It's ingrained in me. It's always going to be a part of me. I did things my way, and I'm going to leave my way. And I'm good with that.